since today, or this morning, I'm thinking about the Fitblr community, and its intersection with the eating disorder recovery community, which there's a whole lot of overlap there, which should be red flag for anyone. But apparently it's not, because a lot of people get involved in the Fitblr community when they're in recovery from an eating disorder. And I just want to preface this by saying, you can't know someone else's recovery. Sometimes it's really obvious that fitness has, I don't know if that last video posted, but sometimes you can tell that fitness has become an unhealthy obsession for someone. But you can't tell for everyone, just because, some people really find joy in exercise, which confuses the fuck out of me. But some people legitimately enjoy exercising. I've heard that it's true, so I'm just going to take that at face value. But anyway, I was reading a post about someone who had gained weight, and she'd gone to her doctor, and her doctor wasn't really looking at her, and she was like, well, we need to talk about all the weight that you've gained. And apparently the woman was like, you need to look at me. And the doctor was like, oh, it looks like you've gained 40 pounds of muscle, so that's fine then. And it just really spoke to this idea that gaining weight is okay as long as it's in muscle, because that's socially acceptable. And I think a lot of people in the eating disorder recovery community fall into that line of thinking, which obviously can be very toxic, and it can keep someone in an obsessive cycle of exercise. I don't really know what the point I'm making is. It was just something I was thinking about today, and that comment just really, I found that comment really off-putting. Like, this woman was like, I've gained weight, but it's okay because it's in muscle. And I think any weight gain, any significant weight gain should be addressed by a doctor. Like, hey, you've been working out and you've been lifting, so you have gained muscle or whatever. Even if you haven't been working out. And if you haven't been working out and you're gaining weight, maybe you've been going through some emotional shit, and your diet hasn't been healthy or whatever. Like, your doctor can still help you with it, not to lose the weight, but just to deal with what's going on. So I do think it's important that doctors know how much you weigh and they keep track of your weight. I know some people really disagree with that, but I don't know if I agree with asking to be weighed backwards for the rest of your life. Just because I feel like you shouldn't be afraid of that number. Like, you should reach a point in your recovery where it literally is just a number to you, like it is for most of the general public. But I understand that people have to do what they need to do to protect their recoveries, and never seeing your weight again might be one of those things, and that's fine. If it works for you, it works for you. But yeah, I still think it's important for your doctor to keep track of your weight, and just to help you address any changes that might be happening, to address whatever might be happening in either direction. But like I said, recovery is so personal for everyone, and I've been thinking about doing a post about the toxicity of the fitness community when it intersects with the eating disorder recovery community, because I feel like a lot of people get sucked in and their recoveries are weaker for it. And some people, like I said, they really find joy in exercising and using their bodies and blah, 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 blah. So maybe when I'm not sitting in the work parking lot trying to look like I'm not filming myself, I will shoot such a video, maybe tomorrow morning on my way to work again. I don't know, we'll see. I hope you guys are doing well, and I would love to hear your thoughts. So when people that are not in the ED recovery community comment on how toxic the ED recovery community is, how can you deny it? It's so obvious that this community is ridiculous. Like, people that aren't even in the community but have exposure to the community can see the issues. People without eating disorders can see the issues. Like, why can these accounts not see the issues? The ones causing the issues, it's just trash the whole community, just in the garbage. Let's start over. Set some ground rules, because like I said, it's fucking ridiculous. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check out the article that I wrote. So obviously it's my opinion and my viewpoint and my experience with the community. 10 ways that the eating disorder recovery community is toxic for your recovery. I haven't really made a video about it, I don't think. Just because I've been dealing with a slew of migraines, migraine after migraine. So I haven't felt like making stories very much, but I don't really think I need to make a video about that because my words are pretty pretty clear, but I do try to give people different ways to access what I'm saying, what I'm talking about. You know, some people, they can't sit down and read a big long article, but they can listen to someone's annoying voice. So I do try to have that option, but I may not have that option this time, because that'd be a really long video. Like my why before and afters are harmful to the community video. It's so long, and I thought about redoing it, but I don't want to. Also, okay, like real rant time. I feel like these accounts, most of them don't even know like what caused their eating disorders, outside of diet culture and fat phobia, which are huge contributors to a lot of people's eating disorders. Like, I get that, but I feel like that influence is overplayed because it's an easy target, and a lot of people don't want to dig deeper and find deeper issues within themselves, so they continue to rant against like diet culture and fat phobia in order to maintain their recoveries, and I don't know that is a long-term, if that can sustain their recoveries long-term. I've always felt like you have to dig deeper and find out and figure out like what your eating disorder does for you. It's a coping mechanism for everyone. It's the nature of the illness, and you have to figure out what you're coping with. I know that for a lot of people it's trauma-based. For some people it's religiously based, like feeling clean, which can also tie back into trauma, or it's about control and perfectionism, or feeling right. I mean, it's just, I shouldn't be speaking for other people and what their eating disorder is about. These are just some of the things that I've heard. But it's really interesting to ask, well, you can ask people this, but like to get into discussion with someone and find out, you know, the factors behind their eating disorders, because it's always so complex and so multifaceted. And to me, that's fascinating, and I really enjoy conversations with people that have that self-awareness of, you know, the contributors to their eating disorder outside diet culture and fat phobia. I don't know, I just get frustrated with this very simple narrative of society told me I was fat, so I lost weight, but oops, I lost too much weight, I got addicted to it, and, you know, that may be people's narratives, but I always feel like there's something underneath all of that. But I don't know, I just, you know, like I said, I can't speak for other people, and I don't think that my eating disorder has ever been, like, I was going to say severe, but I don't know if that's denial or not. I'll say this, I know a lot of people that are more entrenched in their eating disorders than I have been, maybe. But the factors contributing to my eating disorder make recovery a little more difficult because I have to deal with all of these other issues, and there are other mental illnesses that come into play, like managing social anxiety and obsessive compulsive disorder through an eating disorder. Trauma is obviously huge. I don't feel like I am unique in that regard. I feel like a lot of people's recoveries are happening on multiple levels, and, you know, there are multiple different approaches. Addiction whack-a-mole is totally a thing. It's totally been a thing for me, and I'm trying not to fall into it now that I'm in a pretty stable recovery from the eating disorder. I don't know. I guess I'm just saying what I always say, and I wish people understood that eating disorders are more complex than just not wanting to be fat or whatever, because they don't want to be fat or whatever. That narrative really frustrates me, and I feel like it's really prevalent in super popular body eating disorder recovery accounts, which coincidentally become body positivity. And I'm frustrated about it because, you know, then people get the impression that eating disorder recovery is just like loving your body and like feminism. Like, no, that's not what recovery is. At least that's not what mine has been. So also, this is day 4 of not washing my hair. I'm not doing it intentionally. I've just been lazy as fuck. I feel like my hair is mostly dry shampoo at this point, but it looks pretty damn good. Well, besides back here.